Welcome to Sports Steady TV. We got Kristaps Porziņģis. The Celtics pulled the trigger. This was the day after trading Jrue Holiday to the Portland Trailblazers. So Porzingis on the move. Now, in the previous video, I did say that I thought Porzingis would be traded later, but I had to remember that the Celtics are trying to get out of this huge luxury tax hole. And I knew this yesterday, but I skipped it because I thought maybe they would make another trade, either possibly a Derek White or even Jaylen Brown, which was my 1%, well 0.5% because, but Porzingis got moved now instead of later on, whether it be draft night or some point during the season. They just wanted to get that money off the books. Now they the trade. Let's see if we can get to the particulars here on this trade. The Hawks is a 3-team deal, so it involved the Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets, and the Celtics traded Porzingis and threw in a second-round pick. The Celtics receive George Niang. I believe that's how you say his name. I probably butchered that. So George Niang. We're going to get into him in a second. Let's go over the rest of this trade. The Brooklyn Nets get Terance Mann and the number 22nd pick in the draft, which I believe that pick belonged to the Hawks or maybe the Celtics. I don't know. Well, I think it was the Hawks pick. Interesting move for the Hawks. Why would the Hawks get involved in this deal? I don't know. Why would they trade away? I don't understand where the Hawks come in play here. Like, why did they get in this deal? Maybe they just wanted to make a move. But now, why did Boston make the deal? Right? That's the question. Well, obviously, Celtics wanted to shed Porzingis' $30 million salary, which helps them avoid the second tax apron on the it saves them nearly $180 million in luxury tax penalties after trading Jrue Holiday yesterday. And with Tatum sidelined due to Achilles injury, obviously, he'd be out for the year. The Celtics are pivoting towards financial flexibility and a soft reset. Right? Because I still believe, even after this trade, the Celtics are still one of the best. Now, yesterday I did say I thought they were the best team in the league. Maybe I might have to readjust my assessment on that. But I still think they are one of the best teams in the conference. Because there are no great teams in the Eastern Conference. And if I had to bet a fully healthy roster across the East, I would still say Boston is right there. I still would trust Boston in the playoff spot, even without Tatum this year. Right? That's just my opinion. Now, why did the Hawks do this deal? The Hawks landed Stretch Big, who averaged 19 and 7 with almost 2 blocks last season, shooting 39% from 3. So the key for Porzingis is health, right? Can he stay healthy? Now, he's in the final year of his deal, so I would like to believe that Porzingis will be motivated. And I think the Hawks are probably thinking the same thing. They're like, well, if he's good, if he stays healthy and he's on the court, he's motivated to get a new contract, he's going to give us his best. And if you get the skill set of Porzingis is still a top 5 skill set in the NBA, right? A 7-footer that can get you 20 plus points, can get you 8 to 9, maybe even 10 rebounds, and can block 2 shots a game. You're not getting, and can shoot 39% from downtown. You're not getting that nowhere else around the league. It's very hard to find that if Porzingis is healthy. So this is a big upgrade. The Hawks are betting Porzingis to give us something big this year, potentially And if it doesn't work out, his contract expires and he could walk away. But putting Porzingis with Trae Young for this year, they'll see what it can do. And they're predicting that this could be a top 5 offense or a top 10 offense or whatever. But it is a big upgrade for a Trae Young to have a big that could do this stuff. Now, of course, Porzingis has to stay healthy. That's the key. But Porzingis should be motivated to be going into free agency. It could be a tough loss for the Celtics. Of course, when Porzingis is healthy, it almost made the Celtics unstoppable. But and it's also a risky move for Boston as well. Like, obviously, Boston is not confident that Porzingis would stay healthy, and plus they figured, let's just get rid of him now before, if we did try, because I'm thinking maybe Boston would have probably tried to keep him along throughout the season to see how it goes, and probably could have got more for him if he was healthy and the Celtics was struggling, or maybe they knew they wasn't going to be in the hunt, and then they could have got some assets. Because this is not a lot of assets in return for Porzingis. Because I thought that expiring contract alone would have had value, but I guess they weighed the options of, hey, it's more value to get rid of the contract now to get out of that luxury tax. Because remember, the new owners, they're not trying to pay this. The new owners come in and immediately they're saving $180 million in luxury tax penalties, which is a big deal for them because after buying the team, they're like, shit, we're not trying to pay this luxury tax. So I guess that weighed in. Now, there's really not much info on the Brooklyn Nets. Like I said, they get the 22nd pick, and they get which is the first round pick, and they get Terance Mann, which is a decent play. He's not bad. The verdict of this trade, of course, Boston's trimming salary and retooling. Atlanta is going all in on a front court upgrade, and Brooklyn quietly stockpiles draft picks. Right, they have 5 first round picks now in this draft. The Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is not a deep draft class at all, so I don't know what they stockpiling draft picks for. Right, because this draft is pretty weak. Unless they have some kind of way of like they're gonna offer all 5 picks to like get into the top 3 or something. I don't know. Get to top pick, because this is really, this class is just, there's no reason to have a first round pick outside of like the top 2 or 3 in my opinion. But let's go now to Boston here. Georges Niang. Let's talk about him for a minute. Now, why this is not a terrible pick. Now, Niang is 32 years old, so he's been around the block. He's not like some young player. He's slightly younger. He's younger than Al Horford, of course. 32 years old. He's from Lawrence, Massachusetts, so he's going to be a local guy for us in state. He was a second round pick back in 2016. 50th overall pick. He's been in the league 9 years, so he's a veteran. It's a power forward at 6'7", so he's a little undersized, but he's a stretch 4. He shoots. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter. He shot last season 40% from downtown. So they're hoping to get, I guess, he averaged 9 points in 79 games. Now, remember, he was traded. He was on Cleveland's team last year. Then they traded him. So he pretty much played for the Hawks 28 games, started 2 games, averaged 12 points off the bench in 2 starts, but played 28 games, and shot 41% when he got to Atlanta. So this guy is consistently hitting about 40% of his threes everywhere he goes in his career. 9 years in the league, 40% shooter. And it's not one of those, he takes like one shot. No, this guy's he takes 6, 7. For the Hawks, he took about almost 7 threes a game. So when you shoot 7 threes a game off the bench, right? 7 threes a night off the bench in 23 minutes of action, and you're shooting at 41% clip, that's pretty damn good, right? This is a guy who can get you shots up and he's going to hit them. This is big because if Jaylen Brown and Derek White on the floor, Niang is going to have open shots, and he can hit them. So that's a big deal for Brown, who's the ISO player, one-on-one type of guy, and it would be big for Tatum if Niang is back next season. He's a veteran too, so he knows how to play. So this is an efficient player for Boston. So this is not a move that's like, oh, yeah, you lose Porzingis, who gives you a lot, like defensively, and when healthy, he's going to give you a lot. But I think the versatility of Niang at 6'7", about 230, this is going to be a decent move, a bench player that's going to provide off the bench. He's going to be a good piece for Boston, at least this year, to see what they can do. So not a bad move. I still thought they probably could have got more for Porzingis, but they figured they was going to take the deal that's going to get them out of that money now. Obviously, the Porzingis trade was mostly about really trying to get out of that luxury hole, more so than trying to get fair compensation. Because, like I said, while this guy's a pretty fair, he's a decent role player, nothing adds up to what Porzingis provided when healthy. So, adding that piece and then adding Anthony Simmons yesterday, Celtics are rounding off their bench, obviously with White and Brown as the two starters that's gonna have the offense, and then you see what you get. I wonder, they're gonna have to decide to re-sign some guys like Pritchard or Luke Cornett, or rounding off the rest of that lineup. I think the Celtics are still primed to be a top 5 team in the East. Now, okay, this is my final analysis on the Boston Celtics. They're still a top 5 team, but they're very close now. They're not as far away as I had them yesterday. They're still a top 5 team in the East. I still think the Eastern Conference is going to be wide open next year, and the Celtics are right there in the mix. They're not out of it. So the interest obviously is going to be how good will teams like Orlando be, and what Cleveland's going to do coming back next year and stuff like that. Obviously, Indiana's going to see how they respond with Halliburton, Achilles, and the Knicks, who are frauds in my opinion. The Knicks are not real contenders; they're pretenders. I don't care what they do. I don't care who they trade for. The Knicks are just a cursed franchise. They'll never win a title in my lifetime. That's what I believe. Now, so there you have it there for this trade. Porzingis off to Boston, and we'll see if anything else happens. We'll respond to it, react to it. Is it a great? It'll do. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.